The movie May is a 2002 psychological horror film written and directed by Lucky McKee, and it didn't do very well at the box office. Its budget was $1.7 million and it made around $635,000. IMDb has it at 6.6 and the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is 75%. Its synopsis: a socially awkward veterinary assistant with a lazy eye and obsession with perfection descends into depravity after developing a crush on a guy with perfect hands. This movie came out before most people had high-speed internet, so streaming online wasn't much of a thing at that time. When a lower-budget horror movie came out, you might hear about it on internet forums, but you had to buy it if you wanted to see it, then hope you like it. I bought the DVD when it came out, and I really liked this movie. I'm going to go over the whole movie, including the ending, and then talk a little bit about the main character. The movie starts off with a girl named May being told by her mother that a doctor says she has a lazy eye, which is a reduced vision in one eye, so she has to wear an eye patch to try and correct it. And she already doesn't have any friends, and this eye patch makes her even more of an outcast. May's mother gives her this creepy doll named Susie that she made when she was a little girl, telling her if you can't find a friend, make one. The doll's inside of a glass case, and the mother says it needs to stay there because this doll is so special. Then it cuts to a grown-up May talking to Susie while sewing an outfit, and it seems the doll speaks back to her in her head. And May's still an outcast. I feel kind of sorry for her because she does try to make friends. It's just she's so awkward and unaware of how strange she is. May works in a veterinarian clinic and is sort of friends with a co-worker named Polly. And at one point May tells her that she likes her neck. When Polly leaves work, May sees a man named Adam who works in an auto body shop and falls in love with him because of his hands. One day she follows Adam to a restaurant, sits near him, trying to get his attention. He's reading something, then dozes off. She approaches him, looking at his hands, then puts her face in one. He wakes up and she runs away. They see each other at a laundromat and they talk for a bit, and again, she's really strange and awkward. But he likes her because she's so weird. May seems to have figured out Adam's schedule. She sets up an encounter with him. She runs into him while on lunch break and they share a sandwich. Later, May is dancing in front of her doll, talking to it and wearing the dress she made. May starts to hear the glass cracking, maybe signifying her life and what's to come. May meets up with Adam at his work and they have lunch inside an old car. Then he invites her over to his house. He has a lot of strange and disturbing art, and she seems to like it. They have the first kiss, and she gets a bit aggressive as she has never kissed anyone before.
I taught you how to kiss.
Susie.
May goes home, hits the doll case, cracking it more, yelling at it.
Who taught you how to kiss?
At work, Polly flirts with May, then convinces or guilt trips May to take her cat because her landlady won't let her keep it. May hasn't heard back from Adam and gets up the courage to call him for a date, leaving him a phone message. She waits for him to call back, even checking the laundromat for him. She ends up going to his house and stands outside the door for 2 hours until he finds her there. He tells her he's been busy finishing off a short film that he started in college before he dropped out, and she says she'd like to see the movie. May invites Adam to her apartment for dinner. They have macaroni and cheese plus Gatorade. Then they watch his short film titled Jack and Jill. The film is of two people who go on a picnic and end up eating each other. May tells him she thought the film was sweet and becomes aroused by it. They begin making out and she bites him and starts wiping his blood on herself, which freaks him out. Adam's into some weird, dark, and odd things, but May is just too weird, dark, and odd for him. He quickly leaves and her doll seems to be whispering to her.
I told you to face the goddamn wall!
At night she goes back to his house but overhears Adam talking with a friend and another girl about her, calling her a lunatic, and she leaves. Possibly trying to find some comfort, May accepts an invite from Polly to her home. She goes on over there and they end up making out. May also begins volunteering at a school for blind children, maybe just looking for friendship wherever she can find it. While at the laundromat, she bumps into Adam. She tries to talk with him, but he leaves. Upset, she visits Polly, but finds her with another girl named Ambrosia. May tells Ambrosia she likes her legs, then goes home. At home, May is pretty broken up by the whole thing. She tries to coax her cat to her for some comfort, but even her cat doesn't want to come to her. She throws something at it, killing it. The dollhouse cracks louder. May takes her doll to school, introducing it to the blind children as her friend. The children try to take Susie out of the glass, ultimately shattering the glass and injuring themselves. May returns home with the ruined doll. The cracking glass noise gets louder. The following day, she meets a guy who asks her if she wants to get some candy with him, which she accepts. May says she admires the tattoo on his arm. When they get to her apartment, the guy finds the corpse of the cat and calls her a freak. She breaks down and stabs him in the head, killing him. After sitting for a short time, she says,
I need more parts.
On Halloween, May dresses in a homemade costume and she looks like her doll, Susie. May repeats what her mom told her when she was a girl.
If you can't find a friend, make one.
And it's like now, May has this new personality. She's confident, sort of sexy, and seems completely in control. She goes to Polly's house, flirts with her, then cuts her throat. When Ambrosia arrives, May stabs her, and she uses a large plastic ice chest cooler to take the bodies home.
Sweet costume. You got any cold ones in there? Yes, I do.
Next, she visits Adam and his new girlfriend at his house, who mocks her. Although Adam seems kind of intrigued by May. May compliments the girlfriend's earrings, then kills them both. And at home, she designs her new friend, a sort of Frankenstein's monster. A life-size doll made from that guy's arms, Polly's neck, Ambrosia's legs, Adam's hands, his girlfriend's ears, her cat's fur for hair, and a fake pair of eyes. And she names the doll Amy, which is an anagram of her own name. At first, she admires her creation, but she starts to panic. She realizes that unlike the other body parts, Amy's eyes are fake, so Amy can't see her. May gouges out one of her own eyes, crying in pain and bleeding. She puts the eye on Amy's head and begs the doll to look at her. She collapses on the bed beside the doll and holds it. The movie ends with Amy moving its arm to comfort May. I thought the ending was pretty cool. May just seemed to be trying to find somebody who sees her as she truly is, this sort of weirdo. Now, people have always been doing and saying outlandish things in order to be seen as unusual or an oddity. Even wearing shirts with words like freak on them or calling people not part of their group things like normies have this to enforce their belief that their group is just so strange and unusual. Although there never seems to be that much unusual or freakish about them. Some will have the strange hairstyles or tattoos, clothing, and I like a lot of those styles, but it's just superficial. There are a never-ending supply of motivational books or YouTube videos about not following the crowd, but actually doing that can have a cost. It can leave you alone and ostracized. But what about the cost of following that crowd and fitting in? Which can mean arguing all day with people over politics, obsessing over celebrity and sports, the absolute glee people have in trying to destroy others with opposing views, consuming too much social media, junk food, or booze and drugs, legal and illegal, that make people mentally and physically a mess. The true freaks, like the character May, are like a nearly extinct breed of animal that you rarely get a glimpse of. These freaks will always have a fond place in my heart, and they should stop trying to fit in because they're so much more interesting just being the true weirdos that they are. If anyone at all even sees this video, thanks so much for sticking it out. As we get closer to the month of July, stores will start putting out some early Halloween decorations and horror prop studios will be marketing their products. So with my next video, I'm going to be reviewing a magazine that covers Halloween attractions, plus going over some of the new horror props and some of the upcoming Halloween conventions. Good night. Boo.